Hey everybody, it's Jamie from Independent Street NOLA, and I'm here to talk about this Mercury retrograde that is starting today on January 14th. Mercury is retrograding in the sign of Aquarius. Mercury is at home in Aquarius. Mercury is communication, and Aquarius is the development of the individual and then the collective. Maybe I'll get t-shirts that say that. And so this is a big Mercury retrograde because to me it is a time of slowing down, but it's a time of slowing down with technology. And so if you are someone who doesn't use technology that much, it would be just a time to see how technology maybe influences you, or not necessarily like your dependency on technology, because that's just where we are as a global community, right? Like we have technology at the same time, but just seeing where maybe like how you think about it, like how you think technology is affecting you. Or those kind of stories, right? If you're thinking, oh, I'm a slave to my phone, or I'm a slave to my Apple Watch, or whatever, I don't know if I can say that, but whatever, some sort of watch device, whatever, then really listen to what you're saying and see maybe what you can do in order to maybe change that narrative. It was coming in really clear, and also it is coming in, like, well, sometimes when these things come in, whatever, we're just going to go with it, right? I was going to give you a big long story, but we're going to cut that out because Mercury's retrograde and get right to the point. But the other thing is thinking about this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius is that Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus is the cosmic mind, correct? And to me, the cosmic mind is the heart, okay? And we spent all of last year, with Gemini, the South Node in Gemini, really moving through this, but really moving through getting out of our head and moving back more into our intuition and into our heart. And yesterday, more into our heart, right? More into our feelings, right? More into that intuition. And actually yesterday, a friend of mine was talking to me about this. So I pulled a card yesterday, read the wrong thing in the book, or did I read the wrong thing in the book? And then today I pulled that card of the one that I read yesterday, and this is what it talks about. So this is how spirit works, correct? So, but the idea is that we're really coming into getting to know who we are, right? And we have to learn how to balance our thinking mind with our intuition, right? Our thinking mind with our gut feelings. And the thing with like AI and stuff like that is that it's on an algorithm, right? So we really don't have to think about our gut feelings. All we have to do is know that if I do this and that and plug that in, that algorithm's going to take over, and then, A, B, and C should happen. Okay, and so I'm asking for us during this Mercury retrograde to really think about that and to step back into getting into balance with our feelings, with our intuition, and with our mind. And when we start doing this, we're not going to be hitting home runs all time, right? Because we've been out of our feelings for so long. I mean, we just have, okay? Age of Pisces. Feelings were everywhere. I mean, they weren't really good. A lot of them were toxic. A lot of them weren't ours, right? And so we're coming back into our own, right? Our home, our vessel, which is touching on this full moon in Cancer. In this Mercury retrograde, to me, because it is in Aquarius, right? Mercury's an air sign, or Mercury's, at home, it rules Gemini, which is an air sign. Aquarius is an air sign, and it's all thought, right? But Aquarius also is ruled by Uranus, which is the cosmic mind, which is the heart, which is feelings, okay? And once again, we can touch on that, the cosmic, I mean, that's the cosmos, that's everything, right? But not to get too far out. So really use this time of this Mercury retrograde to start bringing it back into balance, to really start remembering like, oh, wait, this is how I feel about this, right? These are my gut feelings. If you do have an online business and you're used to hitting that algorithm, maybe start thinking about what are different ways I can share my business without relying on technology. And if you're just like, fuck you, Jamie, I totally get it. At the same time, we've got 6 weeks or so to really kind of start, backing off and being quiet and getting into ourselves and really reaching in. And, Mercury does not mind if you're like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm taking a break. Sorry, the sun is reflecting off this card big time. Gave me an angelic glow. Mercury does not care if you're just like, oh, let me pump the brakes. Mercury's retrograde, right? Mercury's here to help out. Mercury doesn't mind if his name is in your mouth, okay? But really use this time. And if you're feeling stuck, like I've been doing the algorithms and I'm not getting the results that I want, realize that because it is time to start balancing our gut feelings with our mind, right? It's time to start balancing how we present ourselves to the world, how we want to move forward in the world, right? Even if your world is, 30 people, what's fine. Even if it's just 2 people, even if it's just you and your animals, that's fine, right? But is this recalibration? It is this recalibration, I believe, of how technology is affecting us, how we're using technology, and going back into how we can, quote unquote, do it for ourselves, right? Technology is always going to be there, and technology can be our friend. At the same time, how do we get out of thinking, well, I've just got to feed an algorithm, and back into what is it that I love to do? How is it that I love to be myself individually? How can I get, quote unquote, people's attention if I need it in order to sell my items, right? What are things that I can do, right? And it's time to go back into the earth and think about this. And you're like, the earth? Yes. And I say the earth because, I say the earth as in like being solid, right? Planting seeds, doing something that's stable, because 2 things. Mercury, while it is in Aquarius right now, is conjunct Saturn. So Mercury and Saturn are having this conversation, right? And Saturn is stability. And at the same time, the North Node is moving into Taurus, right? And you think of Taurus being strong, and you think of Taurus really, it's a bull. It's not moving too fast, unless it's that bull that is on that cartoon, which I bring up very often, where Elmer Fudd is trying to get it, and it's doing ballet. So, which also says, Taurus can be very agile, at the same time. It's just not sitting there. It knows how to move. Thank you, Looney Tunes. And then at the same time, Venus, right, is retrograde in Capricorn, right? And she is rethinking and redoing all these things about relationships, but also how we work, how we see our self-worth, what are we worth? And Venus rules Taurus, okay? So there's a lot of energy here, and there's a lot of energy here going into, and Venus is the feminine, Venus is intuition, right? Venus is also, Venus is also, I was thinking about Venus and the moon, because this full moon that's coming up, which is in Cancer, which the moon rules Cancer. So I'm getting into this idea of lots of intuition and that divine feminine energy, right? That needs to come through, that is coming through, and that will serve all of us, no matter, how you present. We all have that masculine and feminine side in us, right? And so if you're feeling like things are kind of slowing down or things aren't making sense, especially like on the quote unquote technology front, use this time, right? Use this time to go back in and start thinking about and getting clear with your intuition, right? And start planting those seeds and seeing you know, what are other ways that I can make myself stable? How can I start balancing my intuition with my mind, right? And you're gonna have hits and misses. It's just, you know, we're getting some new shoes, right? We're putting on our new shoes. Also, just side note, Uranus, Taurus, what is it? Uranus goes direct. Uranus has been retrograde in Taurus, right, for 18 months or so, and it's about to turn direct in a few days as well. So a lot of things like going on, right? And it's pushing us all in the right direction of balance. This is it's 2022, right? 2 is the number of balance, right? And so that's what we're trying to get into. So keeping of this theme of balance for the next 12 months, this first Mercury retrograde that's happening in Aquarius, let's just, see where things are changing, see where we can get into balance, see where we can start balancing this techno mind, which Aquarius loves, right? Aquarius loves technology. Unless you're me. Haha. Okay, just kidding. I do like technology. But I am going to have someone else figure it out, like a Capricorn, like Patty. She's going to figure it out. And then I'm going to scream at Michelle Embree, who's the Taurus, and just be like, save all your files, right? Because that's the joke of Mercury retrograde. And I can tell you, my other friend Anna did a really cute TikTok the other day, speaking of TikToks, or a reel, where you do that thing and you do this and then it happens and then it's like, why doesn't anything happen? I did the thing. It did the thing, right? And that's kind of hitting to me, this Mercury retrograde in Aquarius on the head. Like, you just can't and then have everything happen, right? It's going back into putting in the work so it is sustainable. And I don't think that's freaking people out. Like, I think now we're growing up enough to realize, like, oh, okay, yes, in order to have a farm, you have to till the land, take care of it, prep it, put the seeds in. Some of them are going to, grow, some of them aren't, right? Like, we're getting back into that mindset, thank you, Taurus. And that's where we are. So, and I could go on about Pluto, but I think I'll wait. Well, I'll just say it, because Pluto is in Capricorn, right? And, Capricorn is how we work, because it doesn't see any obstacles when it's rocking and rolling. So, and Pluto's transforming all that, right? Pluto is like showing people right now, like, where there are like fake entities or like shadow things, right? Or you're like, oh, this is a great build, or this is a great company, and you walk in there and you're like, oh my God, like, what's happening, right? And a lot of that was really easy to do because of technology, right? If you saw it, it looked good. I'm just looking at it on my screen. So, this must be $1 billion company, like Enron, things like that. No one under 20 is not going to know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. Google it. And so we're getting out of that. We're moving out of that. We're moving out of that age of Pisces, illusionary stuff, and really moving into, this age of Aquarius where things can work together. Like, your gut and your mind should work together. Technology should help the people, right? And so just know we're starting to touch on that. We're just starting to touch on that. So, and we're starting to bring it into balance. 222. Okay. I think that's it for now. I will be back on soon with the full moon video. And also, Michelle Embree and I are going to be doing a full moon live, which are always so much fun. I always like when you guys come in on her YouTube channel. Okay, and I'm pretty sure that's going to start at 7 p.m. Central Time, because that's what we're in. All right. Well, you guys have a great Mercury retrograde. Just start reviewing things, slow it down. Be quiet, and don't be afraid to use Mercury as an excuse of why you can't get things done. He's okay with that, as long as he knows you are actually getting things done. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.